Right guys, so welcome back to episode 2 of the Road to the Open series. So as you can tell, we're in the car just now, and I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit nervous because I'm on my way to my first proper tournament of the year. So we're on our way to Crail for the Battle Trophy. Now my game isn't necessarily where I would want it, but we're going to document it all for you anyway to enjoy, laugh at, whatever you want to do. I've been working at my game, it's getting better, but it's maybe not quite where I would want it to be going into a tournament, but it's still early in the season here, you know, it's only the 19th of April at the moment, so we're only 3 weeks into the season, but I'm looking forward to it. I've got Dave and Andy with me, so Dave's my mate, he's caddying for me this weekend, Andy's on the camera, so I'll grab a cup of coffee, sit down, relax and enjoy this. Now, if you're new to the series, here's how it works, and if you have seen it before, here's a little reminder of what we've got coming up. So, today's episode 2, I've already done episode 1, which we filmed at Carnoustie, so if you haven't checked that out, make sure you do. But following this, we've got a practice round at Kilmarnock Barassi, which is the venue I'm going to be playing Open qualifying at, and then we've got 3 rounds at former Open Championship venues. I've got another practice round, another tournament round to play actually in a few weeks' time. Then obviously the big day itself, Open qualifying, which is the 23rd of June and will be released on the 26th of June, so make sure you put that one in the diary, guys. Freezing. So we decided that this one, you know, being a proper event, we thought it probably made sense to make to do a voiceover for this one instead. You know, obviously in tournaments, you've got to respect the guys you're playing with, the tournament itself, and obviously try and concentrate as well. So just figured it was a better idea to just do a voiceover for this one. So first of all, you can see, you know, hat. I was wearing mitts, I had 3 layers on, it was absolutely freezing. It was tough to get warm. You know, we actually hit balls I hit balls for about 10 or 15 minutes and then went back into the clubhouse to sit for about 20 minutes before my tea time because it was so cold. But yeah, so time to go. Just a way to tee off here. So first hole is like a it should be a long par 4, but it's actually a short par 5, dogleg left. Now I've been working through some kind of swing changes, struggling with it a little bit. Just trying to work on the right arm at the top of the backswing. It's an awkward thing to think about on the golf course, and that one on the first tee, I almost missed the ball. It's so far out the heel, but it was fine. It was up. So this is actually the 18th fairway to the left-hand side that you can see here. I was aiming for the rough, you know, somewhere in the middle and just shorten the hole up, but not quite that far left. I don't know, is it? It's not in that bunker, no? Yeah, I thought you covered it. I actually came out of there a lot better than I expected. Set. Okay. That was pretty good, yeah. Played it how they're a little bit firmer than I was expecting. But
I had a chance to
just with the rain, yeah. Shoes simmer down, Dave, right? So one thing that I really struggled with was the speed of the greens. It had been raining the night before, and I don't know if they just couldn't cut them down or what, but they were just really slow. I found them hard to get to grips with. You know, most of the greens I'll be playing this year at Carnoustie, and even the video I did at the Ashlery, the greens were a little bit quicker, but you know, in with the par to start off, so it was a decent enough start. So the second hole is really interesting here. It's 380 if you take it. It's a dogleg right if you go down the fairway. But what you can actually do is take it basically straight at the green, which takes you back up the first fairway. They run kind of perpendicular. So that's what I decided to do. I've seen people do it in previous years and thought, you know, it shortens the hole up. But as you'll see here, the problem is I actually hit it too far. So the green's to the left of the camera here and the tee's back to the right. But I only had like 55 yards, but out of the rough over a bunker to a green that from the angle I was at was really narrow. And you know, it was tough to, the rough was like really thick and wet, so it was tough to keep it on the green there. I think it just ran through the back, but I'm pretty sure I managed to make a good up and down there to say par and stay at level par through two. So the third hole here is really cool. It looks really intimidating off the tee because you have to hit over the corner of the out of bounds, but there's actually a lot more room than it looks. So it would have been a perfect 3-wood for me to try and knock it on this green. You can hit it up left of the green and there's room. I didn't have my 3-wood in the bag this weekend. I went driver,
right where I wanted.
7-wood, 2-iron instead. So I just hit 7-wood up there, maybe 20 or 30 yards short of the green, which was just fine.
60, try and land it. Probably just on the green. Oh, sit. Oh, that's done so well for me. I thought that was miles off the back. Soft, eh? Wow.
And this was the birdie putt, I don't know, maybe 12 feet. And I honestly have no idea. I have no idea how that didn't go in. It was right in the middle. It was actually left breaking in, and it went across the face of the hole, caught the bottom lip and lipped out. Yeah, I couldn't quite believe that was in, but still level par through three. It was a decent start.
That stings. Oh, that is harsh. That is harsh.
This fourth hole is just a beast. You know, it's you'll see that it's 9 yards longer than the first, which is a par 5. But the first was downwind. This was into the wind, and I just, you know, there's bushes and bumpers
left
at the
ball.
right, and I just double crossed it left. Made the hole a heck of a lot longer because it's a dogleg right, so I made it much longer. And for whatever reason, we didn't get the second shot on camera, but I hit 4-iron up about 50 yards short of the green. This was the third shot. It was a decent shot, but I left it in a pretty tough spot. It was a really slopey part of the green, and I left myself above the hole to the right, so I had like a really fast downhill right to left breaking pace. Didn't manage to knock it in, so first bogey of the round and of the tournament. This fifth hole, I'd always said when I played this in the past, the best missed was to the right of this green.
Oh, that's right.
But it turned out the pin where it was about the only
right
pin where you didn't want to be right of this green. So as you'll see here, I ended up kind of short-sided, coming out the rough, going up and over a slope, but I played it really well. It almost went in actually. Played it really, really well. And you'll see from the other ball there was another ball, I think that was Ali I was playing with, it was his putt. He
I watched it break coming past the hole.
And he was going downhill left to right, so I watched his putt and it didn't move that much, but it still broke to the right. So I played this left edge and it just stayed right there, lipped out. So felt like I hadn't done a whole lot wrong through 5 holes, and yet it was 2 over par, so not a great start. So this 6th hole, you know, I would normally hit 2-iron here in the past because it's such a hard green to hit, and it's a dangerous second shot if you are going at it, and there's bushes left and out of bounds right. So I would normally just hit 2-iron, but I kind of I wanted to force the issue a little bit, which I maybe should do, but I decided to hit driver, pulled it left into the rough, and just had to lay it up anyway. But the issue was with the layup here that the rough was so thick, I ended up leaving myself 165 yards, I think, from the third shot. So all of a sudden, a birdie chance is thinking, well, you know, I just need to get out of here. How with long a par is that playing? To the next hole.
I think it's going left at the end. So yeah, probably not a whole lot overall, but just like I said, try and get the speed.
So this was the birdie putt on 6, par 5, maybe 25, 30 feet. Hit a really good 7-iron in there, into the wind off the left, and lagged it up there, you know, nice and close, and just nice easy tap in for par. But I have no idea what happened there. Yeah, just a lapse in concentration, and it was like a full 360, even a little bit more, but like it went in, so it was all good. But
right in the middle. Right, so 2 over par through 6 so far. Playing okay, you know, I've hit some good shots. It's just tough, you know, it's pretty windy, it's cold, the ball's not going very far. 4's just one of the hardest holes in the world today. 480 into the wind, par 4. And I hit a good putt on 5 and it lipped out, so yeah, it's been okay. It's starting to kind of trust the swing a little bit more, so we'll just need to keep going. Yeah.
now this 7th hole, this is a tough par 3. 198 yards to the pin it was, into the wind off the left, so I hit 5-iron. But anything left, pin was back left, there's a huge tier or a huge slope
Missed
off
the
the left
bunker
side
then.
of the green, so anything left is dead. Anything long is dead. You could actually hit it out of
Bunker
bounds
maybe?
pretty easily over the back. It's probably only 5 or 6 yards over the
Hope
back.
so.
So I hit a good shot here,
better
started
anyway,
at the
it's
pin, but
solid.
just moved on the wind and caught the right hand green side bunker. I was kind of short-sighted in this bunker, but I had been practicing my bunker play a couple of days before this for the first time in ages, and actually felt quite good over this one and just hit a great shot. There wasn't a lot of green there, and managed to splash it up to about 4 feet and save the par. So that was a big one, because you'd just gone bogey, tough par 3. You don't want to be giving a shot away, and then you've
It's a
got
bonus.
a reachable par 5. So it was really good for momentum to get the par there, get onto the par 5 and try and make a birdie to get a shot back. Now this 8th hole, the par 5, kind of scares me a little bit. Bushes up the left, and what I thought was out of bounds up the right hand side, there's a wall runs all the way up the right, which I thought was out of bounds, but apparently it's not. So
There you go.
I used to hit 2-iron here, but I actually decided just to go with driver this time. Felt like I needed a birdie.
Can't hit a ball any
and
better
just
than that,
crunched
have you?
one down the middle. Just left myself, I think 168 to the pin, a little bit, like barely off the rough, barely off the fairway there in the rough, as you can see. Hit a really nice 9-iron in here to probably 30-35 feet short, and managed to 2-putt that, get the first birdie of the day and get back to 1 over par through 8, so back on track.
Okay, thanks.
So the 9th hole here, 390, bushes all up the left hand side, absolutely dead left, plenty of room right. So I kind of aimed a little bit right and then blocked it a little bit from there. And then this was when it all started to go horribly wrong, unfortunately. So I found my ball up the right hand side at 115 to the pin, roughly, something like that. Hit 110, I think it was, hit a good shot into the green at maybe 25 feet, got up, marked my ball and realised that it wasn't my ball. I played the wrong ball in the rough. So clearly I just hadn't checked the ball properly. It wasn't, I mean, look, it wasn't even the same type of ball. It was a Titleist, I play a TaylorMade. So just a complete rookie mental error, and got assessed a 2-shot penalty. I had to go back, play my 5th shot, and ultimately walked off with a 7. So having played pretty well, felt like I could have been level par, even 1 under. All of a sudden I was 4 over par through 9. So yeah, lesson learned.
2-shot, yeah. Yep. 7.
So I mean, naturally I was pretty scrambled going on to the 10th tee here. I actually managed to hit a pretty good 2-iron off the tee, somehow just overcut a little bit, just caught the right hand rough. And it was a really horrible little pin actually, so the green sloped really severely from back right to front left, but there's also loads of little tiers in the green, and they had the pin cut back left.
Right, that was definitely my
over
ball,
a
yeah.
tier. But then if you went too far past the pin, it ran all the way off the other side of the green, so I had to be kind of careful with my second shot. Played a pretty good shot into maybe 12 or 15 feet, but same thing with the putt, like going up a ridge and then back down, and if you got too much speed on it, it would run, you know, 4, 5, 6 feet past. So had to be quite defensive with that putt, but it was just, honestly, it was just nice to get a par on the card after what happened on 9. Yeah.
centre cup.
Yeah, it's just really hard to get yourself to hit it hard enough when you know that anything with pace is just going to keep going. I've played well. Just mental error rather than any swing faults. Don't worry.
So this 11th hole is so unique.
Yeah. A little right where I wanted, but
kind of like the one behind the tee there.
but where I hit it off the
way
ninth,
across
just
the
make sure I hit the right ball.
Probably 6 or 7 feet high. It's about 250 yards to reach it, so about a 260 carry over it. So I just hit driver. I was still pretty annoyed. Hit driver, kind of flared it out a little bit right. Funnily enough, back into about the same area where I played the wrong ball from on 9. Pretty much where my bag is there on screen is where my ball was on the 9th, or where we thought it was. So yeah, but you know, I hit a decent second shot in here. It landed a little bit softer than I thought. Came up a bit short, but made a good 2-putt to get out there with a par. So again, it was nice to make another par after the mix-up, the error on the 9th. So 12 here is maybe my favourite hole on the course. It's really, really good. Pretty much a completely blind tee shot, bushes up the left. All you see really is some sort of tower in the distance, and you kind of aim a little bit right of that. The hole goes down.
Do you know what?
Dogleg
I don't like to brag, right? But I was aiming at that pole.
The water. Had a really good 2-iron there into the fairway, and I had, I think, 145.
See, when I do this properly, the quality
pin
of the strike is just
into
night
the
and
wind.
day.
So I hit beautiful 8-iron. Just turned it over just a little bit.
And didn't really go.
Managed
It
to
just
make
didn't really break
easy
right,
2-putt
Dave.
par on a difficult.
Yeah, it
dangerous
kind of just
hole.
went straight up this hill and then broke right at the top of it.
So the 13 again, this is a really cool par 3, 158 yards I think it was to the pin when we played it, kind of a little bit downwind out the left, so I just smoothed the 9-iron, but to me this is the best stretch of the golf course, so 12, 13, 14 is really
carry
good.
then.
Along the water, it's really cool. Didn't hit a great shot here, it was kind of flared it a little bit right.
I've no idea where I ended up.
Back right of the green.
Blinded by the sun.
Had a tricky putt down the hill, kind of big break from right to left, down a couple of slopes, but made a decent effort at it and managed to get out there with another par. And you know, all I could think at this point was, you know, I'm playing well here. How am I 4 over par? You know, just that one stupid mental error that cost me so dearly. But you know, it's a 72 hole event. You're still in there, so I knew I had to just keep plugging on and trust the fact that I was playing okay and try and get myself back into the tournament.
Right, so managed to settle down a little bit after that mental error on the 9th hole. I mean, it's just a lesson to everyone, including me, just make sure you double check the ball. And then, you know, I've kind of rushed my shot after that and the chip, and all of a sudden you make a 7, you're like, what's just happened? You know, 1 over par, playing pretty nice, the next thing you're 4 over, but playing okay. I feel like I can get this back.
So 14 is just one of the scariest tee shots you'll ever face. It's pretty much blind up the left half of the fairway, so all you see is a wall of bushes up the right the whole way down the hole. But 5 yards from the fairway on the left is out of bounds all the way up the left, and North Sea's up the left. But it's 420 yards, you know, and it was playing a little bit downwind off the left here, and you've just got to...
Not quite that far left, but it's fine.
Tee shot. I hit a really good 2-iron there, I hit my kind of stinger 2-iron into the fairway there. And then the second shot, if you get a good tee shot away, the second shot is not too bad. It's a huge sloping green from
wow, it
from
probably
right
did
to
need to be
left
out on your marker
as
actually.
you
I
play
didn't
the
think it
hole.
was going to move that much.
But it's quite a wide target, so I was able to aim left
Right,
here
I'm
and
gonna
leave
take my
myself
time
an
on this
uphill putt, and
Got previous.
you know, ultimately get out there with a pretty easy 2-putt par, which, you know, you would take 4 pars and run on this hole 100 times out of 100. It's such a difficult and dangerous hole.
Good 4 there. Tough hole that.
Now 15, the par 5. With the wind we had, I think this is probably the toughest driving hole on the course. There's basically bushes up both sides, probably only 40 yards between the bushes, so you can hit, you know, a long iron off the tee and play it as a 3-shot hole, but you know, Ethan I was playing with did that in the second round. He hit something like 3 iron, 3 iron, 5 iron, or 6 iron at the green. So it just makes it too long. So I hit driver, hit a really good one here. I actually hit it through the fairway. I actually hit it a little bit too far and caught a fairway bunker right up the face of it, and I had to basically hack it out about 40 yards, probably no more than 40 yards, back into the fairway, and still had 255 to the pin for my third shot. So, you know, I hit pretty good 2 iron here, just kind of short right of the green.
Right, but it'll be okay.
It's a really difficult green. It's like an
Oh,
upturned saucer.
Dave, I feel so hard done by on that.
It's really far above you, so you can't see the bottom of the pin. So I was pitching over a bunker to a green that I couldn't see. It was a pretty scary shot, but I managed to play a pretty good one and then just hit a decent putt, but it didn't go in. So, you know, again, it was a bogey, and I didn't really feel like I'd done a whole lot wrong in the hole. So, just a tough day, you know, 580
too bad,
par
but just
5
pulled it.
into the wind off the
Pretty
right.
intimidating shot.
Pushes everywhere off the tee. It's just a difficult hole. But if you get the wind behind you, it can play like, you know, you could. I think a couple of years ago I hit a drive and a 7 iron into that hole, so it plays very different. Now 16's a hole that I've never been able to figure out. Dogleg left, but there's bunkers all up the left hand side, and the bunkers progressively pinch the further up you go. So you could hit, you know, 5 or 6 iron off the tee, but it leaves you 150 yards into this crazy green. It's like a cone-shaped green, and the pin pretty much every time I played it has been right in the middle of that cone. So anything landing right of the pin goes off the right side of the green, and anything landing left of the pin goes off the left side. So I decided to play a little bit more aggressive off the tee to make the second shot a bit easier. Hit 7 wood up and only had, I think, 105 into the pin here for my second shot, and I've hit it right at the pin. It's landed about 6 feet away, but it's moving left to right on the wind, and it's just spun and come all the way down off the green. It's just a difficult second shot with where they put that pin.
Thanks.
So 17, this is such a difficult par 3. I honestly, I actually think it's a little bit either too severe for how long it is, or too long for how severe it is. The green is just so difficult, and where they put this pin, I'd never seen the pin there. It's like a back right pin.
Oh, I can't hit it any better than that.
It was just so difficult. It was like on a little ledge. So anything left was in an almost impossible to putt. Anything over the back was absolutely dead. You're making double bogey from there. Anything short right, you've got no shot either. But this was probably the best shot I hit the whole day. Or certainly in that round, I hit a beautiful 5 iron into about 20 feet below it. And I said at the start, I struggled with the speed of the greens. I mean, look how hard I hit this.
Like, I've hit that so hard, and it's not even close.
Just, honestly, to this point, I was starting to get frustrated with, you know, how slow the greens were, but that I was playing pretty well and just getting nothing out of this round, and it culminated here. Just hit a bad putt here. You know, frustration, a little bit of concentration, but yeah, I was pretty annoyed at that point. So your 6 over par for the round, not very good, and you get to the 18th, 460 yards into the wind off the right. Bushes up the right, bunkers up the right, but I just crunched this one. I absolutely nuked this one down the middle.
Is that going to cover?
I think I had 165 to the pin. Again, there's a big false front at the start of this green, so you've got to carry that at 155.
On the wind.
I had a pretty good 7 iron, and it just didn't get there. It landed right at the top of that ridge.
How long is that playing, Dave? Like, I hit that good.
So not ideal, but played a good pitch up and managed to knock this in. So ended up in a 78 first round. Again, I don't really know where it went. You know, obviously that 2-shot penalty led to a triple bogey, and even then I felt like I played better than 3 over par for the rest of the round. But 78 it was. I mean, there was some high scores. There was a lot of scores in the high 70s, even some in the 80s. It's not an easy golf course, but I had work to do for the second round, that's for sure. So we managed to get pretty much every shot filmed and recorded in the first round there, but we only had about 15-20 minutes between rounds, so even though I had the battery
Right
pack,
where I was
had
trying to hit it
everything
anyway.
fully charged. We just didn't have enough battery in the phones, the gimbal, even the battery pack to actually record the second round properly. So we just managed to get a variety of shots, but honestly, after what happened on the second hole here, I kind of, my heart just wasn't in it. I'm going to be honest. It's not what I should be saying. It's not what I should be thinking. But you know, I had a good tee shot here. Had 100 yards to the pin and just thinned it, just half balled it clean over the green. Right up against that with bounce fence here. I had no backswing. Flubbed it forward. Tried to play a fancy pitch. Left it short of the green again. Pitched on and missed a 4-footer for a double. So all of a sudden, I birdied the first actually, and then tripled the second, and it just took any wind out of my sails. And honestly, it was difficult to get it back after that. So I actually managed to hit probably my best tee shot of the day here on 4. That tough par 4 only had 190 yards to the pin here and almost shanked the 6 iron. It was a dreadful swing. Honestly, at this point I was kind of fighting the swing. Like I said, I've been working on getting a bit more width at the top of my right arm, and it's feeling good in practice, but on the golf course it's just not comfortable yet. And you know, I hit a pretty poor pitch about 20 feet past it, 25 feet past, had a hard putt down the hill and 3-whacked it and made another double. So any chance of making the cut at that point was looking pretty slim. And like I said, I was struggling to keep my focus and concentration at that point.
So just a quick recap, guys. We're going down the 6th hole in the second round. We were really rushed for time after the first round, but finished up with 78 this morning. Played better than that, but just had that nightmare on 9. We're playing the wrong ball and just let a couple slip. But started off okay this afternoon, birdied the first and then tripled the second from the fairway, just thinned it over the back and made a mess of it from there, and just double bogeyed 4 from the middle of the fairway as well. So I'm just finding it hard. You know, I've had a lesson. I know what I need to do, but it's very different doing it on the golf course, and I'm finding it hard to trust it. So we've still got a long way to go with the golf swing, and I'm driving it nice. I've just pumped the last 2 drives down the middle, but iron play, short game. I mean, I'm struggling on these greens. They're pretty slow, a little on the bumpy side, and I'm struggling to, you know, I've just lost all confidence over the ball on the greens, which, to be fair, the guys I'm playing with have been the same as well. So we'll dig in. So, you know, still a chance to make the cut, so we'll see. So get into that stuff.
So this is the par 3 7th again. I hit almost an identical shot to this morning again. You've really got to be careful not to miss this left, so I lost it out a little bit right. And it just felt typical of how things were going at the moment, that this one ended up right up against the back edge with no backswing and led to another bogey. Third shot on 8 here. I actually got quite lucky here. I hit it right off the tee over that wall we spoke about and barely found it in time. Hit a good shot in here, but didn't manage to make the birdie. So I think I can't even remember. I was sort of 5 or 6 over for the round at this point. It just wasn't going very well. Yeah. So the second shot on 4, I hit 6 iron and almost shanked it, and then this one here off the 10th tee, I actually did shank it. Yeah. There's bushes up the right hand side, and I actually ended up short and right of the bushes, but managed to get out there with a par. And then we finally had a bit of a highlight here in this round. So the 11th hole, the one with that wall across the fairway, had a great drive up here. Had about 65, I think, to the pin here from a second shot, and hit a lovely little shot into about 5 or 6 feet, and managed to make the putt for a birdie. So All at this point, honestly, all I was thinking at this point was just break 80. Just don't shoot something in the 80s. Keep it at least semi-respectable. So that was the goal for the rest of the round. Now this is going to take some doing for me to hit a better shot than this year. This was so good. That same 17th hole I was talking about this morning, 190 to the
even
flag.
better than this morning.
Absolutely.
That actually might go in.
Flushed a 5-iron, as good as I can hit a golf ball, and it landed
Oh my God.
from the pin. It was so close to going in. It was just such a good shot. It landed about that far shot right and ended up about the same distance just past the hole for a tap-in birdie. So, of all the crap that happened
I could still
in that
miss
second
that.
round, that was a really nice highlight. Yeah.
Wow. I just don't think it's going to jump
here.
over.
I got kind of lucky just to miss the bush actually up the right-hand side, and had 180 to flag into the wind, hit a smooth 6-iron, thinking it wouldn't jump. And of course, it jumped, went about 220, went absolutely miles off the back of the green. Yeah, as you can see by my reaction. So I had a really tough third shot here. Made a decent effort at it, but again, by this point, I was ready to go home. I didn't give this putt a whole lot of thought or consideration. I knew I was missing the cut by a mile, so it got the most horrendous bobble. I don't know what happened here, but it just went nowhere. I went straight left. But yeah, anyway, just a tough day. Didn't quite have my best stuff. I tried, certainly in the first round I tried. Second round, it went south so quickly that it was hard to keep motivation.
Right guys, so real struggle there. I can't even remember what I actually finished up with in the end. It was 80 something. It's a tough course, penal course, pins cut really tight. Green's not running all that good, to be totally honest, so it's hard to hold putts and save par when you're missing the greens, but I just didn't have enough. It's going to take some time to get used to, you know, what I'm trying to work on in my golf swing. Short game wasn't great this weekend either. It's really tough around the greens here. It's like really grainy, quite thick, tangly grass, so if you're not striking it quite right, you just look pretty silly. But yeah, I just didn't have my best stuff, not even close to it, so it's going to be a miscut. Got about 3.5, 4 weeks to the qualifying for my next tournament. It's going to be part of the series as well, so I've got some work to do, put it that way. But I hope you enjoyed the insight anyway. You know, it's like I said, I want to show you the highs and the lows, and this was definitely a low, but we move on. So until next time, guys, thanks.
So to summarise, tough weekend. I didn't have my best stuff. I knew I didn't have my best stuff going in, but I was kind of hoping I could find a way to get it round. And it was frustrating shooting 6 over in the first round because I played a lot better than that. You know, the stupid wrong ball on the 9th hole. Second round, I was kind of disappointed with my attitude, to be honest. There was points when I just didn't really want to be there. I know that's not the right attitude, and it's something I'm going to have to get better at. You know, these 36-hole tournaments in a day is tough. You know, physically, mentally, it's tough. But that's not an excuse. You know, I need to be better at dealing with that. So, you know, highlights. You know, I hit some really good iron shots. My driving was okay, but I made far too many basic errors around the greens. You know, just quick doubles from nowhere, being around the green in 2 and making a quick double, just not good enough. So, I know what I need to work on. I'm determined to do it. I'm practicing every day. I'm working hard at it. But, you know, it's tough. It's a hard game. It's just a hard game. So, but yeah, you know, hopefully you guys are enjoying the series so far. You know, it's just real. We're just trying to document everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, my own flaws. You know, I've got plenty of them, and through age, I'm not scared to hide them anymore. But I really appreciate all the support. You know, I've had nothing but good messages from the first video of the Open series. This is obviously episode 2. So yeah, I hope you're enjoying the series so far, guys, and I hope you come along for the journey for the rest of it.